And he said, "I'm mad at you because you're gonna die on me." Man, that'll burn the lips. Well, what's up, guys? This is Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and if you can't tell, it's a cold, rainy day here in Oklahoma. And yes, I know I could have made that percolator coffee on my wood stove, but I'm not that patient, so I can fire up that outdoor propane burner and have that water boiling in a couple minutes versus probably 10 or 15 on the wood stove. But I'm telling you what, if you enjoy coffee, you need to try percolator coffee. I mean, it just takes me back to those days of camping and deer camp or fish camp, whatever it is, when it's cold. There's just no better tasting cup of coffee than when you get off of a wood fire percolator made pot of coffee. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. So with it being wet and rainy, so like the last 3 days, I think today's the 3rd day, we are ice storm free here in southern Oklahoma. A lot of Oklahoma has been hit by ice storms. You guys have been messaging me and texting me to check on us. We're all good here. We've been lucky. Very little ice. Lots of rain, but very little ice. It's been hovering in the low 30s, but just enough to not freeze. But that means we haven't got any work done outside lately, and that includes today. So we're gonna use the shop and probably go up to the garage and do some work today. But I'm waiting on a mechanic from Great Plains Kubota to arrive, and we're gonna do the 50-hour maintenance and their winter service special on our Kubota L4701 tractor. I was just gonna do it myself because the 50-hour maintenance, when I use their little app to show you, which I'll tell you about, the Kubota's got a really cool app. I'll tell you about that in a little bit, but I just thought it was going to be an oil change. But the winter service special and the 50-hour maintenance kind of combine. A lot of extra stuff goes into it, a lot of things that I don't have here. So we're going to do some maintenance on the tractor today, and then probably go up to the garage up there and do some more work on my wife's future merchandise processing facility. But on that topic, let me show you something. So until my wife is completely set up and ready to do her own t-shirts and designs and stuff, we are having a friend do them for us, and we're changing a few things up, changing some designs, changing some colors. But how about a little sneak peek? Still a blue hoodie. This is obviously a hoodie, but still blue, but the logo is a lot brighter color, not nearly as a dull yellow. But hoodies, t-shirts. Let's see what this one is. Oh yeah, this is one you guys like. The Donkey Poodle Ranch, which that's not new, but changed up just a little bit, make it stand out a little bit more, I think. So we're getting pretty close to being able to handle all of our own merchandise stuff, and I had a few people asking if we were gonna be doing custom merch for other YouTube channels, if we were gonna kind of start doing order fulfillment and design and stuff for other people. And no, that's a big no. Right now, I don't see that in our near future. We're done out of our garage. We'll see how it goes with our stuff first, maybe someday, but not right now. Well, as you can hear, it's starting to rain again. It rains off and on, like 10 minutes on, then it may quit for an hour, 10 minutes. Yeah, it's just enough rain to be annoying, but we really needed it. We hadn't had a measurable amount of rain here in, I don't know, I think my uncle told me 40 something days the other day. But so, like I said earlier, we are waiting on the mechanic to arrive. So Great Plains Kubota, obviously, is who we partner with for our Kubota equipment. And Kubota recommends a 50-hour service. I don't have my phone on me right now, but Kubota has an app. It's called My Kubota. You can find it in the App Store, Play Store, wherever you get your apps. And if you download that app, you can input your information for your specific Kubota equipment. And you'll enter your model number, serial number, VIN number, all that stuff. And it'll tell you when you need to do your maintenance, what the maintenance is. There's even like how-to guides on all of where, you know, all your grease points and all that stuff. But we're gonna let Great Plains Kubota do their winter service special, and I've got a little flyer for that. I know most of you aren't close to southern Oklahoma or central Oklahoma. Great Plains Kubota obviously is just a local dealership, but they run a winter service special, which is actually a really good idea because most people wait to do the maintenance on their tractor or their zero-turn lawnmower until spring, and then there's just, you know, they don't have time to get you in, basically. The shop is full. So with their winter service special, they break it down and do all kinds of stuff that keeps your machine running. So one thing about Great Plains that's really cool is included in that price for the winter service special, they will come pick up your machine and deliver it within a 30-mile radius of their dealerships, or they can come to your shop and do it.
Yeah, with that Kubota design right there, we catch a lot of the contaminants. Before it ever reaches the pump.
That's crazy. In just 50 hours, that screen's pretty filthy.
Yep. Like I said, all diesel fuel has trash in it, so by catching this before it makes it to the pump, it helps with the longevity of the engine.
So we got the Kubota tractor all serviced and taken care of. And like I say, it's best not to wait until spring to start doing all that maintenance on your equipment, whether it's a zero-turn mower or whatever. Do it this winter when it's cold and you can't be out there mowing and working and all that stuff anyways. Get it taken care of before that shop gets rushed with everybody coming in trying to get their stuff worked on and maintained and all serviced and everything in the spring. So do it now on these cold, blistery winter days. So I'm gonna head up here and go in the garage and start working on our garage remodel. My wife decided she wants a little kitchenette area, at least a place with some kitchen cabinets and a sink. I've already got the cabinets installed. I worked on that last night. Got to get the countertop on and put a sink in. I'm not gonna get the plumbing done today. Just hoping I can get the sink on. So let's go check it out real quick. All right. Public service announcement. I am not a carpenter, not a finished carpenter, not even a rough carpenter. I know about this much about carpentry. I can cut some boards, put some screws in, throw some paint on. Sometimes I might not even sand something. But that being said, here's what we're looking at for the garage so far. So my wife wanted some cabinets and a sink, which there used to be an old ugly set of cabinets and a sink for cleaning fish. That's what it was for. But we just went to Lowe's and bought some cheap cabinets. I mean cheap particle board cabinets. They've got oak facing on them. They're all right. And she painted them black. I know some of you are gonna just destroy us in the comments for painting oak black. You're gonna get destroyed in the comments for putting black paint on these brand new wood cabinets. So as long as you're prepared for that, I'm okay with it.
I'm fine with it. That's what I want.
All right, well, it's your project.
Yep.
I got you all set up. Helped you get everything disassembled and set up and ready to go.
Yep.
So,
Garage cabinets, here we go.
listen,
What?
I don't want black paint on my orange tractor over there.
Don't kid me.
I know how you paint.
Don't kid me. We got it down.
You got plastic down, but I know how you paint.
Yeah.
You could get paint on the ceiling, on the dog.
The dog may not be my fault. I cannot control the dog.
All right, get
Okay.
started.
I'm gonna. Here we go.
Black paint?
You betcha.
Kind of dark-minded, aren't you?
I mean, depends on who you ask, I guess.
Huh. Okay. I'm just gonna set up a time lapse and let you paint away.
All right.
But I don't have the doors on. Just hung these last night. So we're gonna get the doors on there today probably. I'll work on the plumbing later. That's another project. But what I did was I ran some pressure treated 2x4s along the floor and set the cabinets on there because these are particle board. And particle board will absorb moisture like a sponge. And we're in the garage. But it'll work. And I'm repurposing the old sink that was in here. I think this is like an old hospital sink is what it is. From like probably the 70s. But it will look good in there. It'll look good. It's not perfect. So I'm hoping to get the countertop installed and the sink hole cut today, at least roughed in there. And this is the countertop that she picked out, just like a laminate one-piece countertop from Lowe's. Nothing fancy. But this corner over here is going to be where her merchandise construction area is, I guess. She's not a big fan of that window unit. We're gonna put a propane heater under there. Got a window to fix. It's a mystery. No kid knows anything about the baseball hole size hole in my window. So, nothing fancy. Just use some 4x4 posts for the legs, 2x4 frame, plywood top. And I think what she's gonna do, so I've been sanding on this a little bit, getting it pretty smooth. But I think what she wants to do is an epoxy top. She said something about taking some pictures and putting all over it, and then like a pour on acrylic resin or something. I'm not sure. Pinterest idea, I'm sure. But t-shirt handling facility, and then we'll have storage down the wall once I get the shelves all cleaned off. Well, we're making some progress. I've got the cabinets all installed securely. Got the countertop on. I had to get a little bit creative because some of those little cheap plastic brackets just don't hold the countertop down. Obviously they're just stapled in, and yeah, so I had to cut up and make up some of my own brackets. My wife's got a little more touch-up painting to do, even though probably this refrigerator will get slid down there. We'll go ahead and touch that up. And then I'll need to rip a board to put down there for a kick plate, just to clean that up. It's time to cut the hole for the sink. I've never done this before. This is a new adventure, so I'm just trying my best to get the sink centered. Then I'm gonna probably just take a pencil and outline where it's at. And we've got about an inch lip. So when I take my jigsaw, I'll probably just stay inside about an inch of that line all the way around. May not be the best way to do it, but that's how I'm gonna do it. Now don't be like my wife and make fun of my jigsaw. This thing is probably older than I am, but that's all right, we're gonna make it work. Talk about a long cord now. This thing came with a very long extension cord on it. Now, I don't know about you, but it just feels wrong to do all that work to put a brand new countertop in and then cut a big old hole in the top. Now, here's the question. What do you think the odds are of this countertop fitting correctly on the first try? I'm gonna go with about 3%. But I know how I am as a carpenter. Ha! Look at that. 3% odds. I got a corner that's bent, not allowing it to sit down flush, but look at that. Yay me! So this old sink doesn't have any mounting brackets under here. So usually, you'd have mounting brackets and a way of screwing into the bottom, which I may just, I don't know, may have to figure out a mounting bracket, but for now, we're just gonna goop her up with some liquid nails to try to secure it. Now I did rough up the surface of the countertop quite a bit to try to make at least a little bit of a, I don't know, contact point. Something for this stuff to secure to, I guess you'd say. And we'll come back around the edge of the sink with some, bathroom and tile caulk the edges of it. I feel like I ought to put something heavy down in the sink to kind of push that liquid nails down until that stuff dries. Man, oh man, I'm telling you what, I've often heard Wrangler Star refer to himself on YouTube as a professional homeowner. Well, if Wrangler Star's a professional homeowner, that puts me about like the farmer's daughter or something when it comes to my skills. But hey, we got some cabinets in, got a countertop, got a sink, a couple cabinets up there. Next, we cut the holes for the plumbing, install the faucet, and then we got to work on water in the drain. That's a whole nother story, but we'll get there, we'll get there. So while we wait on our liquid nails to dry, how about a quick story? Okay, may not be quick, but it's good, okay? Yesterday morning it's been, like I said earlier in the video, it's been raining off and on for 3 days. And yesterday morning, I just decided, well, I can't get anything done. I'm gonna go visit my uncle. Now, when I say my uncle, he's really not my uncle. Him and my dad were first cousins, but they grew up like brothers. They were best friends their whole life, so he's been my uncle my whole life. Now he's, I don't know exactly, close to 80 years old. And as I said, him and my dad were best friends their entire life. Now, I've said this before on my channel, but my dad passed away of cancer in 2015, so he's been gone a long time. But I went over to visit my uncle, hadn't seen him in a while, hadn't really had a chance to talk to him, and we sit there and talked for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours yesterday morning, and it was so, I don't know, awesome. It was great. I had a good time. And he got to talking about my dad, and you know, those two men grew up together. They spent their entire adult lives as best friends. And my uncle got to talking about, he told me a story of their last fishing trip, which you guys know how much Houston loves to fish. If there's anyone on this earth that I think loves to fish or loved to fish more than Houston, it was my dad. Okay, he was a diehard fisherman. Anything that swam, anytime, anywhere, he's just a fisherman. And so he was telling me about their last fishing / camping trip. My dad was already in really bad shape. He was on the way out, and this was in November of 2005. And my dad passed away in December of 05. So think about it like that. They went camping, stayed in some cabins, and they were there on a couple days with another couple and their spouses, so 6 adults. And he said the last day, the last morning, on Sunday morning, they were out fishing, just the 2 of them in the boat, and my dad wasn't doing real good. He said he'd make one cast about every 5 minutes and just sit there. And my uncle said, well, Phil, you about ready to go? And he said, no, I want to go try one more spot. So they tried it. They went to this other spot on the lake where they always caught a fish. They were always able to catch bass there. And he said my dad cast out there and caught a bass. And as he's reeling it up, he said it took him forever to get it in just because he was so weak. And he flips that pole up and kind of hands the fish to my uncle who's standing at the back of the boat. And he takes it off for him. They look at it, and they let the bass go. And he said my dad laid that fishing pole down, and he said, okay, I'm done. And I don't know if I can get through this without crying, but you know, listening to my uncle tell the story, he said, I knew right then, you know, that was the last fish your dad would ever catch. And then he said, you know, we're sitting there talking, and it was kind of an emotional moment. And he said he looked up on the shore, and the biggest buck he'd ever seen in his life walks down the bank to the edge of the water and gets a drink. And he said, oh my gosh, Phil, look at that buck. And they both sit there and watch this monster deer, biggest deer they'd ever seen in their life. And he gets a drink and looks at him and goes on. And you know, my uncle said, I know God put that deer for us, put that deer there for us to see. And you know, kind of moseys on. And he said, your dad goes, all right, I'm ready to go. And he said it was a very emotional moment, you know. And then they came home, and a couple days later, my dad had a doctor's appointment, and they went to the appointment and all that. He used to take my dad to all of his doctor's appointments when he could. And he said, on the way home, they were driving back, and he said, I was driving, and he said, Phil, pardon my language here, but he said, I'm mad as hell at you. And my dad was like, what? Why are you mad at me? And he said, I'm mad at you because you're gonna die on me. He said, here we are in our 60s. We've made all these plans our whole life for retirement. My dad had been forced into retirement because of his medical condition. He had just been basically retired a couple months. And my uncle said, my retirement date's in 3 months. And you're gonna die on me. We're 3 months away from retiring and going fishing and doing all this stuff, and here you are gonna die on me. And that conversation just solidified a lot of things for me. I'm sorry guys, but in July this year I made the decision to walk away from a good career, to pursue this stuff full time. And it was scary. It was a scary thought. It was scary. I'm not even gonna say it was risky for my family, and it could be in the long run, I don't know, but I don't want to be sitting there when I'm 60 something years old with either my wife or my best friend or somebody and say, we were 3 months away from having the time of our life. I really feel like walking away from my career to be with my family full time, to be able to do this stuff for a living, is what God's called me to do. I get to spend more time doing what I want to do and spend time with my family. I get to take them to school, pick my kids up from school, and just be here instead of being out there in the world doing something else. It's insane. It blows my mind. But I don't want to get to a point. I made the decision earlier this year, and it took us months and months and months. But I did not want to get to a point in my life where I look back and said, gosh, why didn't I pursue that opportunity? Why didn't I go after that? Why didn't I chase my dream? And, you know, Steve Harvey talks a lot about, if you watch Steve Harvey videos on YouTube, he talks a lot about, you know, your gift. What's your gift? Pursue your gift. Every human being was given a gift by God. And if you go after your gift and pursue your gift will make room for you, as the Bible says. Not your passion or your hobby, but your gift. So what are you gifted at? Find what you're gifted at and pursue that and chase it, and don't be scared. You know, I'm not saying everybody needs to quit their job and go after whatever opportunity it is, but if that opportunity comes along, don't be too scared to go for it. Think about it, pray about it. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't just jump on it real quick, but that may be that may be where God's leading you. You just don't know. You know, that conversation yesterday with my uncle touched my heart in such a huge way, and it really just solidified my decision of where I'm at. And I'm so happy, I'm so thankful, I'm so blessed. And, you know, I need to go over there and spend more time talking to him because he's such an awesome guy. And he just may not mean to, but he teaches me a lot in our conversations, and I have a lot of respect for him. And I know that, you know, he has some regrets, and it's nothing he could have done different. He couldn't change the fact that my dad had cancer, but he was 3 months away from his retirement date, and him and his best friend were gonna chase the world, you know. And he said, I'm just so mad at you because you're gonna die on me. And my dad did a month later. The day after Christmas 2005, he died, and my uncle didn't retire for another 7 or 8 years, you know, because he just lost his reason, I guess. And I feel really bad for him. He's retired now, but I don't know. I hope I'm never in that position, and I don't want to live my life and get to the end and have regrets. So I don't know, guys. That's all I've got for today. I'm sorry I got a little emotional and broke down. It's hard. It's real stuff. But anyways, we're making progress on the garage. Got our tractor all serviced up thanks to Great Plains Kubota. If you've got any Kubota equipment you're anywhere in Oklahoma looking to get your equipment serviced, check out their winter service specials. I know they would appreciate your business. If you're looking for any Kubota equipment, contact Great Plains Kubota. If you're not, I know most of you aren't local. Look into that Kubota equipment if you got a farm. I think you'll like it. I really do like mine. Not just a sales pitch. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.